Hey everybody, this is Paul doing a Doordash video. So, what I wanted to do in this video was to kind of go over, my experience with Doordash, feedback that I would have. So this isn't going to be like one of my good, bad, or WTF videos because I could easily do another one of those. But what I want to do is, so I'm up to, as you can see right here by the screenshot, 5,000 deliveries, and I've had Top Dasher, and I just double checked when they first sent me the first email, for 13 straight months. I thought about putting together like a little thing to prove it, but I mean, if you guys click on my videos, you can see I talk about it all the time. But and my acceptance rate normally stays above 70% pretty much at all times. I did make a specific video about my area. I think it was this one right here, believe it or tips for new drivers video. And it specifically covers my area, like reasons why it's been able to do this. This is certainly not something that you can do in most areas. This is something you would not want to do in most areas. It's completely pointless. Um, but in my area, there's actually kind of a point to it. Just for the simple fact is that the area is just flooded, and I mean absolutely flooded with new drivers. That just this endless supply of drivers and people that will just take literally anything. So what I wanted to kind of do in this video was go over would I recommend DoorDash. So I'm not going to do like the little thing where I save it towards the end of the video because I think that would be stupid. I'm going to flat out outright recommend that don't do DoorDash. I wouldn't. Unless you need like say a quick $100, $200. But would I recommend DoorDash as a thing that you pay your rent off of? There's no chance. There's no chance I would recommend this as something to like pay your rent off of. The money is completely unpredictable. The amount of miles that you have to put on your car to get a return on a profit is shockingly high. The amount of apps that you have to balance, you would have to do DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats all at the exact same time while making sure that none of them overlap because you can get banned from either one of these platforms if they find out you're doing it. And then, you know, it's just too many problems that you run into. So, why do I say that? Like, what's the point? So, let's look at, like, just basically my numbers, for example. And this is as a top dasher, remind you. And this is post the pandemic stimulus boom. So, this is when I started. So, as you can see right here, that's 7,000. Or let me pull up my calculator just to make sure that you guys can get a general idea here. Pull up two calculators for y'all so we can calculate this all together. So, earnings right there for 2022 was 15,203. And then mileage that I had to drive, just so that y'all can see, so it's already calculated right there, so 12,921, okay? And this was on a Prius, mind you, by the way. Prius, okay? So keep that in mind also when I show you this. So for 2020 or 2023, so as you can see, 22,802, okay? And mileage is not calculated yet, but mileage is right there, and I'm not including this week alone. Almost 30,000 miles on my Prius. And just to give you a general idea of what you're looking at for gas when you do DoorDash. And this is on a Prius, by the way, that gets probably 40 to 50 miles per gallon, okay? Inside of a city. 1335. And you might as well double that number if you have just a regular car. Just a regular ice powered, car. And that's if you bring it down to almost empty and then fill it back up at current gas prices. This is in Louisiana of say 333. If you're in any other state, I couldn't even begin to imagine. It would probably be $2,600 or almost $3,000 worth of gas that you would have to spend. And that's only September. And this is doing normally 25, or well, not 25, but I say over the summer, 25 to 30 hours, and then after the summer break and all that, um, probably 40 to 50 hours a week. So here's the problem. This is 2022 right here, and I've only made roughly 23,000, but there's no taxes that have come out yet. And then also I've got $1,300 worth of gas that's already been used, and then I got 16,000, almost $17,000 or 17,000 miles on my car. And this is not including also oil, which I need to do again, 3 new tires because you got to replace your tires because you're putting so many miles on your tires. And then also, I have to end up figuring out the taxes, what my mileage write-off is going to be, tracking all of that. This is not worth it. I mean, unless you're in a city that pays far more, I would say for probably a very large amount of people, DoorDash is just not worth it. Um, as a career, like something that you're going to try and pay bills. If you're just trying to pay like a student loan, this is easily how you would do it. Or like a credit card bill, something small. I would not recommend this for anything over $400 a month. If you're looking to not dog out your car, if you're looking to have some kind of consistency in what you could expect, now you could make, if you're just in here all the time and you have a car that has really good mileage, you could make probably in an 8 hour shift, probably 150 easily above or above, even on a bad day. And some cherry pickers are probably laughing because but they're multi-apping, so they probably talk about how much they make all the time, because they're rich, right? But that's just a general idea. So would I recommend this full time for most people? No, there's no chance. The amount of damage you do to your car, the amount of times that you put your life on the line driving, the amount of people that just don't tip back to back to back to back to back orders, just garbage orders that you have to take on DoorDash. Because you have to remember in DoorDash, if you fall below 70%, the amount of orders that get sent to you just drops almost to nothing. You are severely, severely penalized on DoorDash for dropping below 70% on your acceptance rate. So I think this would probably end up being the conclusive evidence that multi-apping is probably the way to go. So doing DoorDash and Uber Eats at the exact same time, and then also, not taking orders at the same time. Only do one, because this is a mistake that a lot of people make, is they do both. They accept orders on both platforms, and then they end up getting banned on both platforms when customers report that you're heading one direction and then this customer's heading another direction, and then both customers end up reporting you because they think you stole their food or you're taking forever with their food. If you ever go to the Uber Eats or DoorDash customer Reddits, I mean, they post about it all the time, and every single time it's, report them and then you get banned. So if you're going to multi-app, do one at a time. So if you accept a DoorDash, pause Uber and Grubhub. If you accept an Uber Eats, pause, just pause. But don't try and do them all at the same time. That's a very big mistake that I see people doing who are new to this. But I think that the conclusive evidence, and this is especially post-stimulus, and this is even in Louisiana or South Louisiana, where it's like a very active zone, very, very active zone that is throwing festivals, has that New Orleans effect all the time, the tourism effect. So you always have new people rotating in and out. But it's just the zone is completely flooded, and DoorDash just allows the zones to get incredibly flooded with drivers. Um, just incredibly flooded with drivers. It's amazing how they will label a zone busy. Just keep allowing drivers to go in. When you log in, there's only 4 orders on the screen, 2 orders on the screen, but it still says busy because the orders are just sitting there. It's like, say if an order is like a garbage order, for example, like say $2 for 5 or 10 miles, they just keep allowing drivers to get flooded and flooded and flooded and flooded into the zone until those orders get taken. And then all of those drivers are scheduled now for whatever shift they picked 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, or whatever they picked, and the zone just stays flooded. It's incredible how bad this company is run because they don't want to like simply just simply either tell people to put higher tips when they're ordering from ridiculous distance. Um, like there should be like if you order 10 miles out and you don't tip, DoorDash should have some kind of thing that literally forces a tip on a customer. I don't understand how DoorDash stay like they're not a profitable company. It's not a long-term company that can stay in business with this business model. Um, at some point, shareholders will realize that maybe they might become profitable someday, but the current policy of just trying to recycle through drivers is not going to work. Because I'll tell you right now, customer rating means nothing towards the orders that you get. It does mean something towards their high priority program, but this is not that hard to keep up. There's nothing in here that even actually, this is the most useless tab on here outside of deliveries because there's nothing in here. Like, say, if you get a 1, it doesn't tell you why you got a 1. There's nothing that forces them to do comments. Acceptance rate is literally the only thing that matters. Completion rate is only taking the order from point A to point B. Um, and you can bring this down in most areas. In my area, you can only bring this down to 90%, by the way. Most areas, you can bring this down all the way to 80%. On time, nobody even cares. This isn't tracked. This doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything. Lifetime deliveries mean literally nothing. This could say 0 for all I care. It means nothing. You don't get no higher priority. DoorDash doesn't send you more complicated high tip orders, and like there's nothing. There's no rewards for getting to any of these levels. The only thing that they focus on is acceptance rate, and that's it. And then customer rating barely matters, but that's kind of about it. And the craziest part is if somebody new starts on the platform, they get a priority level that is so high it blows everybody out of the water. For me, right here with these types of stats and 13 months of top dasher, which means nothing by the way, I have to basically sit on top of a restaurant and hope that I get an order. New people can be miles away from a restaurant and get the order, besides somebody who has these stats sitting on top of a restaurant. So if DoorDash wants to understand why your drivers, because you keep sending me these surveys that you're not listening to, but if DoorDash wants to understand why your drivers are so pessimistic, it's because all of this is meaningless. There's no extra incentive I get for any of this. Like any of this. None of this does anything for you. In fact, you almost feel punished for having these stats because just this right here is why. Just the shocking amount of damage that I've done to my Prius. I've been hit 3 separate times, just parked my car and have people just run into me. Um, the amount of times that somebody's almost blown through a stoplight, like a red light, and almost just basically killed me is beyond high. There's no hazard pay that comes with this job at all. There's guys who drive the little bikes and whatever in New York City and stuff like that. They get no hazard pay. There's no health insurance. There's no dental insurance. Um, there's no like they don't help you with taxes at all. You're responsible for all your FICO taxes. You're responsible for all your state and federal taxes. Um, the only thing you get to do credit on is maybe the mileage, but then you can get audited by the IRS, and if you get the wrong IRS agent, most of your miles won't even count because you have the documentation required on mileage alone is ridiculous. And there's nothing on the mileage thing, there's nothing. On the tax thing, there's nothing DoorDash sends you to help you with that. They send you one thing that never, and I mean never, matches the amount of mileage that you actually do. And it's crazy because of how DoorDash tracks it. But they don't send you a course that you can take on tax deductions. They don't send you a course on anything, on how to file taxes. There's nothing. And this is a contract job, which I understand, but it's a contract job where nothing is explained to you by the contractor. They just throw you in the deep end. I guarantee there's probably so many people who do DoorDash, that start out DoorDash for like say a month or two, quit and probably don't even file the taxes correct. Like I guarantee they don't file the taxes correctly or know anything about mileage write-offs. Like there's nothing that is given to you when you start to talk to you about mileage write-offs. Um, what deductions you can take. If you take this deduction, you can't take this deduction. Like they expect you to just go hire a CPA when most people are doing this job or just going to like H&R Block kind of stuff. Um, so it's I would honestly say it's not worth it if you're trying to pay real bills in your life. If you're trying to turn this into a job, don't. Under no circumstances try to turn this into a job. You're going to be on blood pressure medication. I'm in a very, very unique situation where I have the ability to just kind of do this as a side hustle, like a fun thing that I use to invest the money. The people that actually have to rely on this, they are you're on blood pressure medication because of how variable it is and how just you're just treated like garbage. Um, so I hope DoorDash takes this feedback because this is coming from a 13 straight months of top dasher, and DoorDash can verify this. And you can see the stats right here, right now. And I've done feedback on just different things about contract violations. I do have 23 separate videos if anybody from DoorDash wants to look. And I think they do look because whenever I do these good, bad, and WTF updates, they actually do updates to the app. It's very weird. They don't tell you they're doing updates to the app, but there are things that obviously change in the app to make your life a little bit easier, and then some things that they do to make your life a lot harder. Um, some of these videos I've gone to put together, by the time I go to put the video together, they've already updated something that I was going to talk about, good or bad. So it's very hard to actually do these videos when they're constantly doing updates. Compared to Uber, the DoorDash does a shocking amount of updates. So I think it would probably be best for DoorDash to look at this video, hopefully, figure out what you want to do with this situation. The biggest problem that I see is the same problem I saw when I first started. It's the same problem I saw the first month after I started. Is new people have just a shockingly high priority level over veterans that have proven the ability to take an order from A to B. Somebody at DoorDash has done a cost calculation to say that new people will take bad orders, so that offsets the amount of money we lose when they either steal an order, get an order completely wrong, deliver an order to the wrong place, or mess up an order so bad, like $100 order that gets delivered to the wrong house, and then DoorDash has to eat the cost of it and the customers that they lose. There's some kind of calculation that has gone on at DoorDash that they have determined that new people are worth losing X amount of money versus the amount of money they gain on orders that they do take that are just horrible. Because I've seen some new people with just 98% acceptance rates, thinking they're forced to take everything until somebody bothers to explain to them that they don't. So whatever math is there makes it worth it, but like doing whatever you're doing to your veteran drivers, it's not worth it. So hopefully, this is just kind of, I don't know if this is a rant or whatever, but like I said, I do have 23 separate videos that people can view on my thoughts about DoorDash, just different flaws that I've seen. I think I've documented it all, but I did want to put a video together for like having over 5,000 orders and then having 13 months of Top Dasher just to kind of go, just on my thoughts on what you should treat this as. So hopefully this helps somebody. And then, if you have any questions, obviously leave them in the comments, and I'll be happy to respond. Thank you.